Lots to talk about with Barca. I want to talk about what they're coming back into now with the return of La Liga. Obviously, last game before the international break was against Alaves, and Xavi was under a lot of pressure going into that game. They got the win that they needed, but do you think this pressure that he's been under is warranted?
Hey Kay, it's difficult to say with Barcelona, and as Javi always says himself, he says this is the most difficult club in the world to coach, because winning football games is not enough, and that's what we've seen just before the international break. What's demanded from supporters and from the media environment around the club, if you will, people around the club, past directors and presidents and whatnot. People all have their opinion, and they all want to see Barcelona playing good football, which has not been happening lately. Since they lost to Real Madrid, they've had a really difficult run. They lost to Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League. And even though they beat Real Sociedad and Alaves, as you say, just before the international break, the performances were criticised quite a lot, really. They came from 1-0 down to beat Alaves 2-1. And, speaking to Javi and in the press conference after the game, it was almost as if they'd lost the game or dropped points. So coming back after the break now, it's really important that not just that they win games, that they start to play better, or at least that there are signs that they're starting to play better. I don't think there's an expectation that they go from 0 to 100 in this international break, but there is an expectation that during this time that Javi's had, he's been able to work on the areas where they need to improve.
Oh, Sam, but we've got to get to the terrible news that's happened in this international window. Gavi getting injured, because he's been such a key part. Even if Barca haven't been at the best, this is one player you can always pick out and say, he's done everything he needs to do. I felt sick when I saw the news, and I'm sure everybody else did. I'm not a Barca fan at all, but this player, everything he brings to this team, everything about his attitude, his desire, his drive, to see him picking up an ACL injury when playing with Spain, another game as well, with all the games that he's been playing, is just sickening. How much is it going to impact Barca?
Yeah, like you say, there are so many angles to look at this from. The playing level, the human level, obviously the outpour of support that we've seen from across football, from his Spain teammates, from his Real Madrid sort of rivals, if you will, and whatnot. But yeah, in terms of the Barca point of view, it's a real blow, because they've had Pedri and Frenkie de Jong out for the last 2 months. He's just come back. Frenkie de Jong's just coming back now after the international break, and now to lose Gavi upsets that midfield again. And in their absence, Gavi's really stepped up. Since he made his debut in 2021 as a 17-year-old, no outfield players played more games than Gavi. That speaks about how much football he's played and how important he's been under Xavi. I think what the most important thing about Gavi is just that intensity that we speak about, perhaps Barca missing these last couple of weeks in their performance. That sort of that fight after losing the ball, that pressure. That is what Gavi has. Xavi calls him the heart and soul of the team, and he's their most intense player. He can play anywhere in that midfield. He can play deeper. He can play further forward, and he's going to be a huge loss for the season now. Like I say, mainly because of just what he brings. No one else really brings that in the final third or in midfield. And I don't know if I've got through this little section without muddling Xavi and Gavi's names, because it's quite hard to speak about them both at the same time.
It really already is. And as you did it, I was thinking, oh, he just nailed that, actually. Yeah, I've been there. And I've got a Barca game coming up this weekend. I've got that Rayo game on air. So let's see if that one catches me out as well.